Welcome. My name is Jillian Thorpe, and I'm here to talk to you about leadership, and particularly leadership in libraries. So, we all hear about leaders, but really, what makes somebody a leader? Is it that they're the boss, that they have the degree that makes them the leader, that they have the right experience, that they have great ideas or some knowledge that nobody else has? Or is it they're a leader because they have a team, they have followers? I don't know. What do you think? What makes a leader? Well, let's look at the definition of leadership: the action of leading a group of people or an organization. So it sounds like maybe if you have a group of people, you could be a leader. Different styles of leadership, or the state of or position of being a leader: the leadership of a party, or the leader of an organization, a country, a town. A change in leadership has become desirable. These are all different definitions of leadership. But let's think back to high school. What was that thing that made someone cool in high school when we're all so um, trying to be our own people, trying to figure it out? Some people just had it. Some teachers just had it. You know, the one teacher that nobody cut up in their class and you couldn't really say why, but there was just something there. What was that thing? Was it the right clothes, hairstyle, car? No, it was something deeper. And it's really hard to put your finger on what that thing is. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a better idea of what it is. Although I still don't think you can define it into one thing. So let's look at a few things, some leadership traits. Now, we've read tons of information about different kinds of leaders, but when it boils all down, this is what I believe. I believe what makes a leader is somebody that believes. They believe in themselves. They believe in their team. They believe in their mission. They believe in what they are selling, buying, giving. They believe. So it means that you're willing to trust yourself and believe in whatever decisions you make. Now, that means that also they're willing to fail, because we know that every decision is not going to always be the right one. And a leader has to know that they are going to fail at some point. Fail is actually a part of success. And I think we ignore that a lot in our society. The difference between a leader and someone else is usually that leader expects to fail and plans for it. They bend. A leader is flexible. They understand that there is a plan, but a plan is not set in stone. And depending on what they encounter along their journey, they are going to morph this plan into whatever it has to be to achieve whatever the goal, even if the goal bends and changes. I love this quote from Peter Drucker. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Now, you can be a leader and be a manager, but not all managers are leaders. A manager's traits, and a manager is a very important role, don't get me wrong. But a manager understands the goals. A manager has to really buy into, at least hopefully, the goals of somebody else. They didn't create this roadmap, but they are willing to follow it to the letter. They're a team player. A manager knows that they have a role to play, and they help keep everyone on task. When they approach a problem, though, they're going to look to their team leader. But it doesn't mean that they're not a player. A manager has checklists. They follow a plan. They check off to-dos on a list. They make sure that everything that has been planned for is accomplished, and if not, they go to the leader for a different direction. People who don't take risks generally make about 2 big mistakes a year. People who do take risks generally make about 2 big mistakes a year. Peter Drucker, another great quote. So why are so many people afraid to take a risk or to do something a little bit different? Well, people are afraid to be a leader, and they're afraid nobody will follow them. So I think that this is one of the great examples of how to start a movement. So let's take a look at this TED Talk.
So, ladies and gentlemen, at TED, we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course, you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes a second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement.
So that's how you make a movement. An interesting concept, but one that is very true, and one that I was trying to make about a leader not being afraid, but that those early adopters, your managers, your supporters, really make you a leader. So let's play Who is a Leader? We're going to read some scenarios and decide if the individual was a leader. Number 1, when I arrived at work, the computers were not connected to the internet. I attempted to reset the server. When that did not work, I contacted our IT services. They were able to walk me through the steps to reboot our system properly and connect to the internet. Okay, sounds good. Number 2, everyone at work seems to come to me with their problems. While I like helping my coworkers, I don't have the time or the authority to make changes within the organization. So why do they bother me? Number 3, I completed a major weeding project this month, and I'm not sure what to do with the deleted material. I suggested to my boss that we should hold a book sale next month. Number 4, I recently moved our adult fiction collection to a different room on the same floor of the library. The patrons are complaining daily. If things don't improve after a few months, I will move it back to the old spot. And in the meantime, I have added better signage and asked the front desk to help communicate the change to our patrons. 4 simple scenarios. Nobody seems earth-shattering like a leader or a manager or a follower. So who do you think the leaders were in our scenarios? Was it the computer issue? They came in, found a problem, dealt with it right away, called somebody, didn't ask for help, handled it, didn't look for praise? Was it the problem solver that everybody seems to go to that doesn't seem to really want to solve problems? But why is everybody going to them even though they're not their manager? Is it the person that weeded that said, hey, I have all this stuff. What can we do with it? How can we make some money on this? How can we get rid of it? Let me ask somebody what they think. Or was it the fiction relocator that made a choice and is now wondering, was that so good? So I did a survey. 55% of the people that I surveyed said that number 1 was a leader. 0 said that number 2 was a leader. 15% said that the person in scenario 3 was a leader, and 30% said that the person in scenario number 4 was a leader. What do you think? What do I think? I believe they were all leaders. I'll tell you why. Number one, they identified a problem, they created a plan, they executed a plan. They made a decision and they followed through with it. That is essentially a leader. Is it a leader of a big company? No, but it shows a leadership quality. And I believe if you give your coworkers or your employees the ability and recognize their leadership, they will continue to grow and lead more. And ultimately, if you are their boss, make your life easier. Number two, this person was me. When I worked at the library 20 years ago as a regular staff member, everybody always came to me and I used to get frustrated. I'm not the boss. Why are you coming to me? Go tell Karen this or Judy this or whoever was in charge of them. But what I found out very reluctantly was that I was a natural leader, that my coworkers believed in my opinion and they went to me without me asking them. And I saw that this was an opportunity, and I saw that this might be a natural gift that I had that I wasn't embracing. Number three, completed a major weeding project. They created a plan. They had the confidence to make the decisions to weed material. This is not an easy task for a lot of people. And then they showed that they were thinking about the future. They were thinking about other ways to deal with these books. And I think that shows leadership. The last one, recently moved the collection. This was a true story for me. I did this once and people were not happy. But they created a plan, they executed, they weren't afraid of the failure, and they were willing to bend. They're saying, if the people aren't happy with this, I'm going to move it back. That's leadership. So I hope that you all walk away with this and realize that leadership is not cut and dry. Leadership does not mean that you're the boss, doesn't mean that you're not the boss, but that we all are a leader and that you are a leader too. And that I hope together you will see through this presentation that you are the future and you can do anything you want to. Thank you. If you would like to talk to me about anything in this presentation, please feel free to contact me. This is my contact information for the Butterfield Library, where I'm a library director, through the Putnam Library Association, where I'm the president, or my leadership corporation that I have established myself. Thank you.